The internet just exploded, and what you're about to hear might be the most shocking celebrity meltdown of the year. No one saw this coming. Not the fans. Not the insiders. Not even the people closest to the situation. Because behind the laughter, behind the viral clips, behind the carefully crafted public images, a storm was building, and now it's tearing everything apart. It started with one podcast. One conversation. One name dropped at the wrong time. And suddenly, Theo Von, yes, the same laid-back, unpredictable comedian everyone thought was harmless, found himself at the center of a firestorm that has now spiraled completely out of control. Because Erika Kirk. She didn't just respond. She went off. We're talking about a full-blown, no-holds-barred, scorched-earth explosion that has left fans stunned, insiders scrambling, and celebrities quietly picking sides behind the scenes. But here's where it gets even crazier. Theo didn't just talk. He exposed something. Something Erika never wanted the public to hear. Something involving Charlie, yes, that Charlie, that completely flips the narrative Erika has been pushing for months. And the moment those words left Theo's mouth, everything changed. Within hours, clips started circulating. Leaked DMs began popping up. Old interviews were reanalyzed frame by frame. Fans turned into detectives overnight. And suddenly, Erika's story wasn't adding up anymore. But instead of denying it quietly, instead of letting the storm pass, Erika snapped. What followed was a meltdown so intense, so personal, and so brutally direct, that even her own supporters started backing away. We're talking about screaming Instagram lives. Cryptic tweets that vanished within minutes. Voice notes, yes, actual voice notes, being passed around like wildfire, allegedly capturing Erika behind the scenes, saying things she can never take back. And just when you think it couldn't get more chaotic, Candace stepped in. Not quietly. Not neutrally. She chose a side. And it wasn't Erika's. Now the internet is divided. Fans are fighting. Celebrities are subtweeting. And insiders are leaking receipts that paint a picture far darker than anyone imagined. Because this isn't just drama anymore. This is war. And trust me, what's coming next? Nobody is ready for it. The moment Erika Kirk hit go live, you could feel it. Something was about to snap. Not the kind of controlled, PR-approved response fans were used to. No. This was raw. Unfiltered. Dangerous. Her eyes were already red before she even spoke. Her voice shaking. But not with fear, with rage. And then she said it. You're really gonna sit here and let Theo lie on my name like that? Boom. Within seconds, tens of thousands flooded into the live stream. Comments flying so fast they became a blur. Screenshots started instantly. Fan pages went into overdrive. Because this wasn't just a response, this was a public execution attempt. Erika didn't hold back. She called Theo a clout chaser. Said he was desperate for relevance. Claimed he twisted the truth about Charlie to make himself look like some kind of insider hero. But here's the problem. People had already heard the clip. And Theo didn't sound like he was guessing. He sounded like he knew something. Something specific. Something detailed. Something Erika was now trying way too hard to bury. As the live stream continued, Erika's tone kept escalating. What started as frustration turned into something much darker. Her words became sharper. Her accusations more personal. She started bringing up private conversations, things that were never supposed to be public. You sat in front of me, she said, pointing directly into the camera like Theo could see her, and you nodded your head like you understood. Don't play dumb now. Wait, what? That single line sent shockwaves through the chat. Because now it wasn't just about a podcast clip anymore. Now Erika was confirming that whatever Theo said came from somewhere real. And fans caught it instantly. Clips of that exact moment spread across Twitter within minutes. People slowed it down, zoomed in, replayed it over and over. She just exposed herself. That wasn't denial, that was damage control. She's panicking. The narrative was shifting in real time. But Erika? She doubled down. She started referencing Charlie directly, but never fully saying his name. Like she was dancing around something too explosive to say out loud. You don't get to speak on situations you weren't there for, she snapped. You don't get to twist timelines and act like you know what really happened between me and him. Timelines. Now people were really paying attention. Because up until this point, Erika's version of events had been consistent. Clean. Carefully packaged. But Theo's version. It introduced cracks. And now Erika, in her own rage, was widening those cracks into something impossible to ignore. Then came the moment that changed everything. A notification popped up on screen. Erika glanced down mid-rant, and froze. Her entire demeanor shifted in a split second. The anger didn't disappear, it transformed into panic. Who is leaking that? She muttered under her breath, just loud enough for the MIC to catch it. The comments exploded. What is she talking about? Leaking what? Yo, she knows something's out. Within seconds, a new hashtag started trending, #ErikaLeaks, because at that exact moment, screenshots began surfacing. Private messages. Allegedly between Erika and someone saved only as C. The tone. Completely different from her public persona. Gone was the confident, composed storyteller. In these messages, Erika sounded desperate. I told you not to say anything. You promised me this wouldn't come back. If this gets out, it ruins everything. Ruins what? That question hit the internet like gasoline on fire. And just when people thought it couldn't get worse, an audio clip dropped. Low quality. Slightly distorted. But the voice. Unmistakable. Erika. I never thought he'd actually go on a podcast and say it out loud, the voice whispered. I thought we were on the same page. The internet lost it. TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, everywhere you looked, the clip was being dissected like forensic evidence. People comparing voice patterns, analyzing background noise, trying to confirm if it was real. But here's the twist no one expected. Theo hadn't responded. Not a single tweet. Not a single post. Silence. And somehow, that silence was louder than anything Erika had said. Because now it felt intentional. Calculated. Like he was watching everything unfold, waiting. Waiting for Erika to dig herself deeper. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, things were getting even messier. Insiders started whispering about a second recording. Longer. Clearer. And way more damaging. One anonymous source dropped a cryptic message in a celebrity gossip forum. You think this is bad? The real tape hasn't even surfaced yet. And when it does, it's over. Over. For who? Because at this point, lines were being drawn. Fans weren't just watching anymore, they were choosing sides. Some defended Erika, claiming she was being set up. Others turned on her completely, convinced she'd been lying all along. And then Candice entered the chat. Not with a vague tweet. Not with a neutral statement. but with a direct, unapologetic post that sent shockwaves through the entire situation. Truth always comes out. And some people should have kept theirs straight from the beginning. No names. But everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. And just like that, the war escalated to a whole new level. Because Candace wasn't just anyone. She knew things. Things the public hadn't heard yet. Things that could either destroy Theo or completely finish Erika. And according to multiple insiders, she was sitting on receipts. Real ones. The kind that don't just trend. They end careers. But here's the part that has everyone holding their breath right now, that second recording. The one insiders keep hinting at. It's not just a rumor anymore. Because moments ago, a 12-second preview just leaked. And in it, you can clearly hear Erika say one sentence that changes everything. I had to lie, there was no other way. The moment that 12-second clip hit the internet, everything fractured. Not cracked, shattered. Because there it was. No distortion this time. No room for, maybe it's fake. No plausible deniability left to hide behind. I had to lie, there was no other way. Clear. Cold. Final. And just like that, the entire narrative Erika Kirk had spent months building, collapsed in real time. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Slowed down. Cleaned up. Enhanced. Posted from every angle imaginable. Major T pages pinned it. Reaction channels went live instantly. Even people who had no idea who Erika was just hours ago was suddenly invested like it was the trial of the century. But the real chaos, it hadn't even started yet. Because as the clip spread, more pieces began surfacing, like someone, somewhere, had been waiting for this exact moment to unload everything. A burner account dropped a thread. No profile picture. No history. Just a name, Truth Unsealed. And a caption that read, "You wanted context. Here it is." Attached. A series of screenshots allegedly from a private group chat involving Erika, Charlie, and a third person only identified as T. And what those messages showed didn't just contradict Erika's story. They destroyed it. One message, time-stamped weeks before Theo's podcast appearance, had Erika writing, "If he ever talks, I'm done. I need him to stick to the version we agreed on." Another one, from Charlie, "I'm not lying for you forever. This is getting out of hand." Out of hand. The internet went feral. Because now, suddenly, Theo didn't look like a liar. He looked like the only one who told the truth. And that realization hit like a tidal wave. Clips from his podcast started resurfacing, but this time, people were listening differently. Every word he said, every pause, every look on his face, it all carried a weight it didn't have before. Especially one line. "I'm not here to expose anyone, but I'm also not gonna pretend something didn't happen just because it makes people uncomfortable." At the time, it sounded vague. Now, it sounded like a warning. And Erika, she walked right into it. But here's where things took a darker turn. Because while the public was busy dissecting messages and clips, Erika disappeared. Her Instagram wiped. Twitter gone. TikTok silent. For a moment, it felt like she had just vanished. And that silence, it didn't calm anything down. It made it worse. Speculation exploded. Her team pulled her offline. She's lawyering up. She's about to drop something huge. And then a video surfaced. Not posted on her page. Not shared by any official source. Leaked. Grainy. Dimly lit. Shot vertically like someone wasn't supposed to be recording. Erika. Sitting in what looked like a car. Crying. But not the performative kind. This was different. Messy. Uncontrolled. Real. I didn't think it would go this far, she said, her voice cracking. I thought I could fix it before anyone noticed. Fix what? That question echoed across every platform. Because whatever it was, it clearly wasn't just a misunderstanding. And then she said something that made everything even worse. He promised me he wouldn't say anything. Theo promised me. Wait. What? The entire internet paused. Replayed. Rewound. Did she just say? Theo promised her. Now the story twisted again. Because up until now, Theo was painted as the outsider. The one who exposed everything. But this suggested something else entirely. That he knew more than he admitted. That he wasn't just a bystander. He was involved. And just like that, the spotlight shifted. Not away from Erika, but onto Theo as well. Fans who had just started defending him now hesitated. What did he promise? How deep was he in this? Was this planned? Theories spiraled out of control. Some claimed Theo and Erika had coordinated stories at one point. Others said he backed out at the last second. A few even suggested this entire situation was a fallout between two people who both knew the truth, and were now turning on each other to survive. And right in the middle of that chaos, Candice came back. This time, louder. More direct. And absolutely unforgiving. She posted a video. No filters. No edits. Just her, staring straight into the camera like she had been waiting for this exact moment. I stayed quiet, because I thought people would figure it out on their own, she said. But clearly, that's not happening fast enough. Her tone. Ice cold. Controlled. Deadly. I was there, she continued. Not for all of it, but enough to know who's lying and who's not. Comments exploded instantly. Name them. Drop the receipts. Who lied? Candice didn't flinch. Instead, she leaned in closer to the camera and said something that sent chills through everyone watching. The problem isn't just the lie. It's why the lie was told. Why? That single word flipped the entire situation into something far more sinister. Because now it wasn't just about protecting an image. It was about motive. What was Erika trying to hide? What actually happened with Charlie? And how much did Theo really know before he ever opened his mouth? Candice wasn't done. I have the full recording, she said. Silence. Pure silence across the internet. I wasn't going to release it, but at this point, people deserve to hear the whole thing. Not chopped clips. Not edited narratives. The truth. The full recording. Not 12 seconds. Not a leak. Everything. And according to insiders, it's over 14 minutes long. 14 minutes of conversations that could answer every question. Or create even more. But here's the part that has everyone on edge. Before ending her video, Candice dropped one final bomb. Once this comes out, she said slowly, there's no coming back for one of them. One of them. Not both. Which means someone is about to walk away from this. And someone is about to lose everything. And just minutes after that video went live, a countdown appeared. No explanation. No caption. Just numbers. 2 p.m. 13:59:13:58. Counting down in real time. The full recording is coming. And if what people are saying is true, there's one moment in that audio, just one sentence, that doesn't just expose a lie. It reveals a betrayal so deep. It could end friendships, careers, and reputations overnight. The countdown hit 0. And for a split second, the entire internet went silent. No tweets. No reactions. No commentary. Just anticipation, so thick it felt suffocating. Then, the audio dropped. 14 minutes. Uncut. Unfiltered. Unforgiving. At first, it sounded almost normal. Background noise. Faint movement. Voices settling in like nothing unusual was about to happen. And then Erika spoke. Not the version of her people saw online. Not the confident, composed storyteller. This voice was different. Tired. Pressured. Cornered. I can't keep doing this, she said. A pause. Then another voice entered. Charlie. Calm. Almost too calm. Then stop, he replied. But don't act like you didn't choose this. Choose what? That question barely had time to land before Theo's voice cut through. Yes, you did choose it, he said. We all heard what happened that night. We all. The tension in the recording spiked instantly. Because now it wasn't just Erika versus Theo. It was a room. A shared moment. A truth that more than one person witnessed. And Erika knew it. You said you wouldn't bring that up again, she snapped, her voice cracking with a mix of anger and panic. I said I wouldn't say it publicly, Theo shot back. That was before. You started rewriting the entire story. Rewriting. There it was again. The confirmation people had been hunting for. But what came next? No one was ready. Because Charlie, quiet up until now, dropped a line that changed everything. You didn't just lie to them, Erika, he said. You lied about me. Silence. Heavy. Crushing silence. Then Erika whispered something so low it almost got lost in the audio. I had to protect myself, and Theo immediately fired back. From what? The truth. That's when everything exploded. You don't understand. Erika shouted. If people knew what really happened, I'd be done. Done? The word echoed like a gunshot. Because it wasn't just fear. It was desperation. And then, Charlie said it. The sentence. The one insiders warned about. The one Candace hinted would end everything. You weren't protecting yourself, he said coldly. You were protecting what you did. What you did. The internet broke. Because suddenly, this wasn't about a miscommunication. It wasn't about twisted timelines. It was about actions. Real ones. Serious enough that Erika believed the truth would destroy her completely. The rest of the recording only made it worse. Fragments of arguments. Pieces of a story that, when stitched together, painted a picture far darker than anyone expected. There were references to that night, never fully explained, but heavily implied. There were mentions of changing the narrative before it got out. There were even moments where Erika admitted to coordinating what she would say publicly. I just needed people to see it my way first, she said. After that, it wouldn't matter what anyone else said. But it did matter. Because now, everyone was hearing everything. And there was no controlling it anymore. Within minutes, hashtags exploded across every platform. #Erika exposed, #Theo was right, #Justice for Charlie, millions of posts. Reaction videos flooding timelines. Influencers, celebrities, even people completely outside this circle were weighing in like it was the only thing that existed. And right in the middle of that storm, Candice went live again. This time, she didn't speak immediately. She just stared into the camera as comments flew by. Then finally, she said, "I told you." That was it. 3 words. But they carried the weight of everything. Because now, her earlier warning made sense. This wasn't about choosing sides. It was about watching the truth detonate in real time. But the fallout? It hit faster than anyone expected. Brands started pulling away. Collaborations quietly disappeared. Scheduled appearances cancelled. And Erika, she came back. One last time. No makeup. No lighting. No filter. Just her. Broken. "I know what it looks like," she said, her voice barely holding together. "But you don't know everything." The comments were brutal. "Then explain it. Tell the truth. Why did you lie?" She hesitated. And in that hesitation, everything was decided. Because for the first time since this all began, Erika didn't have control. "I was scared," she finally admitted. "I thought if I told the truth, no one would understand, but the internet wasn't in a forgiving mood. Not after the messages. Not after the recordings. Not after hearing it straight from her own voice." And just when it felt like it couldn't get more intense, Theo finally broke his silence. A single post. No caption. Just a black screen with white text. "I tried to keep it private." That was it. No defense. No attack. Just a statement that somehow made everything feel even heavier. Because it confirmed what people feared most, this didn't have to go public. But it did. And now, there's no going back. Friendships are shattered. Reputations are in ruins. And one question still hangs in the air, unanswered, haunting every corner of the internet. What really happened that night? Because if this is what they were willing to admit, what are they still hiding? And trust me, sources are already hinting that this story isn't over yet. If you think you've heard everything, you haven't. Because behind the scenes, more leaks are brewing, more names are about to get dragged into this mess, and the next drop could be even worse than everything you just witnessed. So don't even think about scrolling away right now. Hit that like button before this video disappears, because you already know how fast stories like this get buried when they hit too close to the truth. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you believe? Was Erika protecting herself, or hiding something much bigger? And don't hold back, because the comment section is already turning into a full-blown war zone. Subscribe right now, because if you miss what's coming next, you're going to be completely lost when the next leak hits, and trust me, it's coming. Turn on notifications so you're the first to know the second it drops. This isn't just drama anymore. This is a story that's still unfolding in real time. And you do not want to be the last one to find out what happens next. If you made it this far, then you already know, you're sitting in the middle of one of the most explosive celebrity scandals to hit the internet in a long time. And the truth. What you've just heard might only be the surface. Because stories like this don't just end, they unravel. And when they do, they take everything down with them. So don't scroll. Don't click away. Because the next update could drop at any second, and when it does, everyone who wasn't paying attention is going to be completely lost. Hit that like button right now, because the more this video spreads, the harder it becomes for the truth to get buried. And trust me, there are people who would love for this whole situation to quietly disappear. Go straight to the comments and tell me what you think. Who's really telling the truth here? Was this all calculated from the beginning, or did things spiral out of control behind the scenes? I'm reading everything, and the best theories might be featured in the next breakdown. And if you're not subscribed yet, this is your warning, because what's coming next is going to be even bigger. More leaks. More names. More receipts that could flip this entire story again. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. Because in a situation like this, missing even one detail means you're already behind. Stay locked in. This story isn't over. Not even close.